Hi everyone!
Welcome to In Our Defence, the podcast designed to give you all the advice you need whilst going through the trials and tribulations of life to and at the bar. Now, we wouldn't be a legal podcast if we didn't give you a legal disclaimer.
Whilst every effort has been made to ensure the content of this podcast is accurate, none of it is to be taken as professional advice in any capacity. We might talk a lot about a lot of things in a lot of detail, but in our defence, we are still learning too. Hi guys, welcome to the first episode of In Our Defence.
With me, Louise Howard.
And me, India McShane. So guys, this is our first episode and we are so excited to be sitting down and doing this finally. It's been a really long time coming. If you know me and Lou personally, we've been talking about doing this since we met.
We've told everyone we were going to be doing it. I think it's about a year in the making.
Yeah, so we've drummed up a lot of marketing for this very moment here. So if we just start by telling you guys a little bit about how we're gonna progress forward in these episodes. Mm-hmm. So each week we have a topic that we want to cover. So this will be A-levels, SUITCASE, which you need to apply for, undergraduate degrees, where to study, the bar course,
what in you should apply to.
Yeah.
Does it matter which in you apply to?
Call day.
Pupillage
applications, the all important looming.
The litigation assessments.
The litigation assessments will be
everything.
Very, very prominent throughout these podcasts. So if you guys are prospective bar students, you want to do the SQE or the LPC, you are just sort of taking an interest in law in general, definitely listen up because we think we'll have some really good advice and good topics for you.
Or you could have literally no interest in this career or this profession whatsoever, but just want to know a bit more about it and some of its archaic ways and how it all kind of works,
it all
I
goes.
suppose.
Yeah, so we're going to be imparting some of our wisdom from going through the process to you guys, and we hope you enjoy.
Yeah. So I think what's important to say at this stage is that although me and India are sat together now, we're only sat together now because it's the first and very, very special episode of the podcast. But going forward, we probably, more than likely and more often than not, we will be doing these podcasts remotely. We want to try and get them out weekly, maybe fortnightly, if that's going to be too difficult. But we're not going to commit to anything at this stage, but hopefully weekly. So in terms of the structure each week, we intend on, we're not entirely sure on a release date yet and what date everything's going to come out, but it's essentially each week there will be a short summary of the best legal news of the week. If you don't know, Inner Temple, which we will talk about in due course, publish a daily digest, so we will sort of take snippets from that and do a best of the week.
And it comes out, daily digest comes out every day at 12 o'clock. So we get one every day, don't we? So we'll be going through that every week, seeing which is the best legal news, and we'll discuss that for you, give our opinions and let you know.
We will then kind of discuss whatever topic is relevant that week. So perhaps, we tend to do 1 week on undergrad, another week on postgrad, another week on call to the bar, another one on pupillage applications, and kind of everything between all of those as well. And then we're thinking about maybe doing a Q&A as well. So I think mainly my personal, what I want to get out of this podcast, I mean, it would be amazing if it did really well, but ultimately what I want to get out of it, if I can help, I know you'll feel the same,
absolutely.
If we can help anyone, if there are any bar students out there or law students who just want some help, just want some advice from two girls who've been through
the ringer.
We didn't have that. I think it'd be fair to say that
we definitely both needed that. When we first met each other, when we first started the bar course, we were both so nervous and overwhelmed. It's a really overwhelming process.
Yeah.
So if we can just give you some advice or some comfort, you probably have a lot of questions about what do I do? How do I revise? What books do I buy? Everything like that we'll be talking about. Yeah, that is the structure that we're going to be going with, and we hope you guys enjoy going forward.
Yeah. So I think now might be a good time to kind of introduce ourselves.
So we'll tell you a bit about ourselves, we'll tell you about what we're doing in our career, and also how we met, which is a nice story.
It's very nice.
So do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I'm Lou, I'm 28. I have wanted to be a barrister since I can remember. I mean, my mum always said I would make a good barrister because I'm good at arguing, although I'm not sure that's necessarily
We've all heard that one.
a good thing. I don't know. But essentially, my story's a bit different to, well, it's certainly different to yours. It's very different to, I think, what the norm is. At 18, when I finished my A-levels, I knew two things. I knew I wanted to be a lawyer or a barrister, but I knew that I didn't want to go to uni, or at least I didn't want to go to uni then. I didn't do fantastic in my A-levels. I was 18. I was sick and I was fed up of being in education, and I was young, and you know, I'll make no bones about it. I just wanted to go out and have a good time and have fun. And actually, it was my mum who found me an apprenticeship with the Crown Prosecution Service, CPS, and I thought, oh, that could be like a really good, you know, compromise. I could earn for a bit, get my foot in the door. And so I applied, I was successful, and I worked there for a year as an apprentice. And at the end of that apprenticeship, I applied for a permanent role, and I've been there ever since. I've been there for 10 years in June.
Wowza.
I know. Long. I don't look old enough.
You definitely don't.
So essentially, I wasn't legally qualified at all when I joined CPS. It was just, you know, it's what I wanted.
And I think that's been really good for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And also, I mean, we'll probably talk about this on another episode at a later date, but there's a lot to be said, I think, about taking a break to kind of get your head clear and work out what you want to do.
Absolutely,
with your life.
Especially doing something like that where you're still doing head-on legal work. And I think that's been really beneficial for you in terms of the bar course, especially,
definitely.
And your knowledge about things. And also for on your CV, it looks
Yeah.
absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
so...
absolutely. And like I said, we'll talk more about that in far more detail, and you'll get to know all about us, I'm sure. I decided after working at CPS for, I think I'd been there for about 3 years, I finally decided that I was ready. I was ready to go to uni, and I started my undergrad at Nottingham Trent University in law in 2017. Yeah, 2017.
Yeah.
I was very fortunate that I was able to reduce my hours at CPS to part-time, to then study part-time as well. I graduated in 2022.
Yeah.
And then started the bar course last year in September 2022 when I met the lovely India. We finished that this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're still working at CPS.
Still working at CPS.
And she's been working at the CPS the whole time. So this girl is a hard-working, busy bee.
I did the bar course full-time, worked part-time. It was a slog. But...
And you also worked full-time whilst you were doing your undergrad degree as well.
I worked part-time while I was doing my undergrad.
Oh, false alarm.
Yeah,
still very impressive.
It was still a lot. Yeah, thank you.
Gotta give credit where it's due.
And yeah, I was actually 2 weeks ago today called to the bar.
Woohoo!
So I am now officially an unregistered barrister.
Amazing. Let's have a round of applause, guys.
Oh God.
So I actually do have a little present for Lou, because I haven't seen Lou since she's been called. I haven't seen her.
I haven't seen you since.
No, so I thought that I'd get her a lovely little present, and I thought it'd be nice if she could open it on the podcast.
Okay, I have no idea what this is.
So I have got Lou a little prezzy. Here you go. Now I'm hoping she'll really like it.
I have no idea what this is, by the way, guys.
Literally no idea.
Okay. Oh my God. India always does the best wrapping cute.
It's always got to have a bow on it.
India is the creative director behind all of this, by the way. I have to say, she is the arty, most aesthetically pleasing. I mean,
well, I did get an A-star in art.
Yeah,
That's my claim to fame, guys.
Yeah.
I had to slip that
Forget
one in the podcast.
Forget the law. Also, guys, can I just say, I'm not full of cold. I'm recovering from quite a horrible cold.
Yeah.
I don't always sound this gross.
There's definitely something nasty going around,
There is.
so keep warm,
God,
guys. Sorry, I keep looking at the camera, guys, to make sure that it's still recording.
No!
Guys, this is... I drew this picture of me and Lou with our little barrister wigs and gowns on.
Okay. Perfect. I love it so much.
So that is Lou's cool present from me.
I love it.
I'm glad you like it. We could put it in the background. So guys, if you want to commission me for a portrait, so that Lou's recently been called, and we're so proud of her. Like genuinely, it could not have happened to somebody more deserving. And if you guys don't know, when you finish the bar training course, you basically get called to the bar, which is like the graduation, isn't it? And you go down to London. It's a really lovely day, and it's a really special time, and it's a real moment to show how far you've come and how hard you've worked. So Lou's just recently had that, and we're so proud of her.
Thank you.
So
thank you so much. I love that. It's perfect.
Good, I'm glad. So now moving on to moi.
With our future.
Yeah, with our shrine in the corner. So I'm India, I'm 23. I'm from Norfolk, and Lou is from Newark. So if you know the geography of the UK.
But I was also born in Norfolk.
We were born in the same hospital. Craziness. So we do live quite far apart, but obviously I came, not obviously because you don't know, but I came to Nottingham to do my undergrad degree. So I did law with criminology, and I started that in 2019, straight after I finished school. So I had no gap or anything. And then we were at the same uni at the same time, never saw each other. We did have mutual friends, but we never bumped into each other, which was odd, but anyway. So yeah, did my undergrad degree in law with criminology, and I've, again, same as Lou, I've always wanted to be a barrister. So I did my first mini pupillage, which if you don't know is a week of work experience shadowing a barrister in court or in chambers. And I did my first mini pupillage when I was 15. So I was committed
Were you really 15?
Yes,
I didn't know you were 15.
In the High Court.
Oh.
So I was committed from the get-go. I knew what I wanted and I was going to go get it. So yeah, and I've had, like I said on the Instagram, if you guys follow it, if you don't, you definitely should, in our defence pod. As I said on the Instagram, I've had a pretty linear journey. So I've gone straight from school to my degree, to the bar, and I haven't had a gap, which is sort of like the traditional route, but in a way there's definitely pros and cons to doing it either way, and as Lou said, we will touch on that.
Yeah, definitely. I think it'll be good to have kind of two quite different like journeys, and
definitely because we can both give our perspectives on what worked for us, what didn't. Yeah, so I then went straight to study the bar course in 2022, and I decided to stay at Nottingham Trent because it's where I know and love. It's a really stressful and overwhelming year. So the thought of going somewhere else and relearning a new city, making new friends was a bit too much for me at that time. So yeah, I'm now hopefully, fingers crossed, finished the bar course, because I had my litigation exams last week. Literally, yesterday. I'm fresh off the litigation exams, and I think they went well. Yes. So fingers crossed. Everybody pray for me, please.
India has worked so unbelievably hard. How many copies of those flashcards did you do?
50? Wow, there's 52 modules. 52
in
modules,
the litigation exam. Full set for everyone.
Full set for everybody. For everybody.
Where am I? Where am I when I needed?
So every single module I did flashcards for, because that's what helps me. And again, we'll talk about this when we talk about revision methods, how to revise, how to study. We'll talk about what works for us and how we revise. But yeah, I've worked really hard. We've both worked really hard. So fingers crossed I've got it, and then if I have passed, I will be getting called in March. So it's super exciting, and I can't wait to be barristers together.
I know. We'll make this a reality, and then we'll have a nice photo to go next to it.
Lou has already obviously got her wig and gown from when she got called, and I have tried it on today.
Yes.
I've given it a fashion show, and it was lovely. So I can't wait for the real thing.
I can't promise I will draw one back for you.
Don't worry.
I can just about do a stick man.
So
maybe we should talk about how we met?
Yeah, because it's a nice story and it gives you guys a little bit of context and a bit of background as to the past year of our lives doing the bar course. So first day of the bar course was September 2022. We didn't know each other. We both went in completely blind. Yeah. We didn't know anybody on the course. We hadn't spoken to anybody. We were going in completely no mates.
Essentially, I turned up to what is moot room 1, isn't it?
Yeah, one of the moot rooms in Chaucer. If you know Nottingham Trent.
That's where all our lectures were for the bar.
It's essentially just a massive courtroom, like it's decked out to the nines like a courtroom.
I turned up, I didn't really know what to expect, so, and we'll talk about the suitcase at a later date, but I turned up with a suitcase. One tip, I mean, I'm so sorry those who've already started the bar course this round, if you weren't told this before, take a suitcase and you go for your first day.
I didn't take a suitcase.
I think maybe we'll have to get the books down for one episode because
we will.
I mean they're thick, they're heavy.
Really heavy.
It's a lot to lug around, isn't it?
And not only do you get the 2 civil litigation books and the criminal litigation book, which are that thick a piece, you also get a couple of other textbooks as well. You get the supplements and everything. So definitely bring a suitcase, because I didn't, and that is one piece of wisdom from the get-go I'm going to give you, is bring a suitcase.
But I turned up with my
suitcase
brand new wheelie suitcase, which is in hindsight far too big actually for what I needed it for.
She was going on an all-inclusive holiday for the week with that suitcase.
And I had no idea what to expect, and I just happened to be walking in at the same time.
Yeah,
I was just walking in.
So from my perspective, I get places 15 minutes early for my sanity. So I was there 15 minutes before, and I was just waiting outside, and I was thinking, am I in the wrong place because nobody's coming? And I think everybody who was already there was inside. So I was sort of sat there like really nervous, and I see Lou come along, and she's come from work, so she's in a trouser suit.
Yeah.
I'm just in like normal casual clothes and thinking, oh my God, was I supposed to be in court dress?
The first thing I think you said was, are you doing the bar course?
Yeah, yeah. Like,
yeah, are you?
And then our other friend Shannon, she was also there, wasn't she? And
yeah.
we all 3 of us met together, and it was really nice actually. Time. It was really nice. And then within the first week of knowing each other, probably the first 2 days, we'd arranged to go to London for the weekend together.
Yeah, so something that I'm sure they do it now. It's anybody, they must do it.
Absolutely.
Depending on what inn you're at, they will arrange an introductory weekend. Yeah. Just normally the first weekend after you started the bar course, usually.
So me and Lou are both at Lincoln's, and Lincoln's did their weekend on. Was it something week? No, it was like something
a week or two after we started, I think.
I'm sure I could find the date, and if I know how to edit this, I'll put the date up on the screen. If I'm that good thus far, but we don't know.
We don't know yet.
Wait and see. So they do a introductory weekend where you can go down to London. Mm-hmm. You can meet other people in your inn who are also starting the bar course. Yeah. And me and Lou just happened to be in the same one. So as soon as we met and we sort of discussed that, we were like, oh my God, let's go together. Yeah. Yeah. And we'd arranged to go with our other friend Shannon. She came with us as well.
Yeah, she was her in middle.
Yeah, they were also having the introductory weekend at the same time. Weekend. That's a really good tip actually. If you're just starting, definitely get to know people and ask around who's in the same inn and whether they're going to London. Yeah. Because hotels in London can be expensive. So if you can share with somebody else, we got a cheap one. It was the worst night's sleep I've ever had. But it was cheap for the 3 of us. So definitely ask around. See, even if they're not in the same inn.
That in itself is an experience as well that we'll have to talk about.
We will get on to our experience at the introductory weekend because it was amazing for me.
Well, yeah.
Lou wasn't feeling very well. You were
so poorly.
Yeah, not very well. So we will get on to our experience with that in due course. Mm-hmm. But if you guys are just starting out, definitely ask around. Just make friends with people. Everybody's in the same boat. You're all going to be feeling really nervous, really anxious, really overwhelmed. Get chatting to people, and then you'll make a friend for life like us.
I was going to say, on a very similar vein, the bar course is so unique and so niche and so different compared to a lot of other courses.
Absolutely.
That we all, well, not just me in India, like me and the rest of our course mates, you do feel like you've kind of gone through something together.
You bond.
And so if you can make those connections early on, and like lean on each other, use each other, and I think that's so important.
I agree. And don't get me wrong, you might not be so lucky. Like, we have been so lucky that we met each other, and we've also got a load of other really good mates on the course as well, who we are really grateful for. And you know, I hope you're watching, guys. But yeah, we were so lucky to have like a really solid group of friends on the course, which I think really helped because we could like bounce ideas off each other. We probably annoyed everybody because we were literally
talking about the
chatting
podcast most of the time.
Yeah, probably talking about our podcast plans since day dot. Yeah, definitely that's my first piece of advice. Well, second after the suitcase. Our major fundamental takeaway from this first podcast is go and really put yourself out there. I know it's hard. If you're not that way inclined, it can be really difficult. Like me and Lou both grew up doing musical theatre. I'm pretty comfortable in front, like putting myself out there. So are you, you're the same. So, and I understand if you're not that way inclined, it can be really hard, but just try. What have you got to lose?
Exactly.
Got nothing to lose. This is going to be a really hard year. So just put yourself...
Sorry, that's my dog in the background.
Just put yourself out there and push yourself to the limit, because if you've got a solid group around you, you'll find it so much easier. I can't even tell you.
No, I agree.
So our main objectives for this podcast, we may have briefly touched on this at the start, but just in greater detail. I literally do not mind if this podcast has 5 views. If it helps somebody who is looking to start the bar, to be a barrister, to be a solicitor, to go into any form of legal career, to even go to uni. You know, if you're going to do something completely different, you might be doing fashion and you're listening to us, and if we bring you some form of comfort, that's all I care about at the end of the day.
I distinctly remember saying to India, it must have been at least the first week, maybe even the first or second day.
First day, probably.
I remember saying, you know, I've been looking online to see if there's any kind of podcasts or YouTubers. I mean, I have to say, at this point, I'm going to shout out Taz Aldeek.
We'll get to him.
We'll get to him. Taz, if you ever watch this,
you won't.
Which you probably won't. If you do, thank you.
But he's got an amazing YouTube channel, so
yes,
definitely go check that out.
Other than you, Taz, you know, there was nothing. And as much as I had experience in, you know, working for the CPS and kind of knowing a lot of local barristers from local chambers and everything, I kind of knew what being a barrister was like. I sort of knew what to expect, but I also didn't really know what to expect.
There's no preparing you for it, realistically.
And I just remember saying, as clear as anything, why don't we do something to help people? Because it would really help me. So if it helps us, it might help someone else.
Well, I specifically remember before I started, so the summer before I started the bar course, I was like, oh my God, I don't know anybody doing this with me. None of my friends went down the same path. I was like, I don't know anybody. Like, what the hell is this going to be like? I actually had no idea. So I was like, I need to get myself on LinkedIn. Yeah. So I went on LinkedIn and I searched up bar course, whatever, on LinkedIn. And lots of people came up. So I must have gone through about 15 to 20 people, messaged them all saying, I'm starting the bar course this September. Please give me any advice. And honestly, every single person, other than probably 1 or 2, replied to me and gave me some really good advice. And I think that is another thing I would say. Another tip that my dad actually has always said to me, if you ask somebody for their advice, they're 99% of the time going to give it to you, because they'll be flattered that you've asked. Put yourself out there, ask people for advice, and you will be amazed at the things that you can gain from asking somebody for their advice about something.
So, guys,
back on track. Sorry, I went on a
no. I was going to say ask for our
Ask
advice.
us. We're here to help you guys out. But yeah, so I looked. They gave me some really good advice, but I just wished that there was something I could watch that would have been like, right, this is what you need to do. This is how you need to revise. This is when you need to start doing everything. This is what books you need to buy, what books you don't need to buy, how to go about everything. And I just really wish that I had something like that, and so do you.
Yes.
So that's where we're coming from. That's our perspective.
Yeah.
If you want us to talk about anything in particular as well, so if there's anything you're particularly interested in, let us know, and we'll be more than happy to cover it. You know, this is a hobby for us, and we enjoy doing this. So yeah,
we do. So, I mean, I'm not sure how much more we want to say on this episode, guys, because we don't want to ruin all of the content, and we've got planned
and
for
we've
the next
got a
couple
lot
of
coming.
weeks. We really could do with your support on this, guys. So if you do have any questions, send them to our email,
in our defense podcast at gmail.com. Again, if I have got my editing skills up, I will put it here.
Or you can, of course, slide into our DMs at In Our Defense Pod on Instagram.
Yeah.
Our YouTube handle as well. We'll have to put that
In Our Defense Pod.
here we are.
If it doesn't come up because, you know, we're not a very big channel, you know.
I think we've got about 10 followers at the
We've
moment.
got about five subscribers, but we're really shooting high. So if it doesn't come up, it's in our Instagram bio. Well, they're watching it on YouTube right now. So,
never mind, guys. Like and
That was a lie.
subscribe. Like and subscribe.
Yeah, I've always wanted to say that. So guys, make sure if you like this video and you want to see some future content from us, like and subscribe. Subscribe. And we've got some really good videos coming for you. Tell your friends. If you know anybody that's interested in doing law, like little sisters, little brothers, cousins,
Siblings.
older brothers, older sisters, anybody, siblings, that encompasses the whole lot.
Yeah.
Anybody that you know that might be interested, send it on. We'd really appreciate that.
Yeah, we've got lots of exciting ideas coming up.
Yeah.
Maybe we shouldn't give them too much.
Yeah, we're not giving too much away. You'll have to watch and see.
Have to watch and wait and see.
So, yeah, thank you
leave it
so
there.
much. If you took the time to watch it this far, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Like, we really do appreciate any support we can get on our little venture here. So if you did make it this far, we do really appreciate it.
Yeah. And we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.